Hi Peter, it's Geoffrey here. It's a pleasure to have a conversation with you about these things as well. I really liked your description of love as a temperature scale, the Kelvin scale. We've all got our amount of love that we get. See you, Celia. Sorry, Celia leaving for work. But I've got a couple of questions about that. I kind of want to stick on the problem of suffering, I guess, as it is called in philosophical textbooks and so on and so forth. And I'd like to ask, how do you deal with the idea of quite an impassive, it sort of brings up the idea of quite an impassive, watchful God observing us, and even if you're down the lower end of the scale towards the 0 Kelvin, you've got a quite difficult life situation. This impassive watcher just simply sits there and says, well, you should be grateful that you exist at all. There's a sort of a feeling of unnerving, quiet observation there. And I wonder how you deal with it in terms of evolution. So right from the first hominids and so on and so forth, how does God interact? How does God work in that scenario? How does God just watch evolution? Was he manipulating evolution? What's the idea there? Did he spring these first proteins to life? Did he just know that it was going to happen because everything's preordained? How do you deal with that? And my last thought, I know this is a lot, but my last thought was, I'm not sure if he's not so impassive, he sent Jesus, his son, / himself down. Isn't that sort of irresponsible fatherhood, since he sent him down to suffer and eventually die by others' hands, and he knew that was going to happen? And if that's his example of fatherhood and his example of how he saved us, how does that save us, and what does it save us from? So those are my questions to you. Thank you.